No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA!
So see me up close.
No KKK! No fascist USA! No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA!
What is up, you heathens and demons, you beautiful, blasphemous people? Welcome back to A Raging Atheist. I'm your boy Nakasuchi, and today is our last look at the alt-right, at the Nazi, at Mr. D'Amigo. Last look at him. But first, like always, want to send a shout out to my Patreons. You guys are great. Your support is making this channel better. Gonna get back to using my good camera soon, I promise. And if you want to become a patron, link is in the description below. Alright, like I promised, this is the last video we're looking at a Nazi for quite a while. Maybe we'll talk about the alt-right in a room, but this is going to be my last video on Mr. D'Amigo, my last video on the Nazis' love for Donald Trump. Let's get back into it.
In homogenous countries in Europe, like in Scandinavia, what happens is they start to legislate for programs that benefit the country as a whole instead of certain factions, and so you end up with a government that's much closer to socialism.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have anything wrong with. I don't think there's anything wrong with socialism. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Usually, people on the right don't like it.
And that's actually something that's very different about the alternative right. Is that there's a very broad spectrum of political views, but a lot of people on the alternative right are actually all right with socialism and are actually very much for it.
Alright. So yes, these alt-right fuckers love socialism. But let's talk about it. For one, them latching themselves to socialism is an obvious attempt to get the left fearing socialism. Oh my god, the Nazis are coming. But I guarantee you that they do not like Bernie Sanders, they do not like AOC, they do not like any of these progressives or so-called socialists as the right calls us, because guess what? We are for diversity more than anybody. The socialism this douchebag is talking about is not the socialism we talk about. Not at all. This douchebag is talking about nationalist socialism. He's talking about Adolf Hitler socialism. Of course they love that shit.
That is cult-like behavior.
With that kind of authoritarian nationalistic socialist system, they could easily get rid of all the people they hate. Of course, the democratic socialists, social democrats like myself, like Bernie Sanders, we're not for that at all. We're not for authoritarian socialism. We're for more of a hybrid capitalist socialist system, which doesn't even make us socialist. Alright, so we got beyond that. I mean, oh, these guys are so easy. They're just so easy. They're so stupid. They're so stupid. Like most people, but not really, because most people aren't going to understand the differences. Most people are just going to see, oh, the Nazis are socialist, fear socialism. But it's not that simple. It's complicated. There are many forms of socialism. People, please get educated.
We should look after each other. We should try to take care of each other when and where we can. I'm okay with that.
But if we have diversity, is it still okay, or does it only happen when we're homogenous?
It becomes more difficult. People actually don't want become less interested in socialism because they feel like their hard-earned money is going to people who are different from them and who aren't going to appreciate that. And they do make a distinction. They do have, and many times this is subconscious. It's a subconscious thing, but they are subconsciously, I think a good word maybe is otherizing people without realizing that they are, and that actually makes socialism more difficult.
So socialism only works if you do it in societies where everybody's the same race. So, I mean, we're all white people, we all have this whiteness guiding us, and if we were all just together, well, socialism would work. It's not going to work in America because we're not just all white people. There's a lot of brown people, there's a lot of yellow people, there's a lot of black people, there's a lot of fucking people. So, of course, we need this stupid-ass ethno-state so socialism can work because, that kind of socialism worked. It didn't get its ass kicked in World War II. We didn't wipe them off the fucking planet in World War II because, it's been proven to work. I'm really glad that I'm part of the movements that I'm a part of. I'm really glad that I have the politics that I have. I consider myself a social democrat. I'm farther left than a lot, but I'm not as far left as a lot. So, I'm proud of that, and I can see moderate views, and I can talk to people and find common ground, and I can see a right idea and see merit in it if there's any merit to be seen. I feel good about that shit. And guess what? There's a lot of white people like me. Most of us are not like this dude. So this ethno state, this whatever the fuck he's talking about, is a delusion. It's a fucking fantasy. It's this utopia you're never gonna achieve. And I am thankful for that because I appreciate diversity. I understand that it has made us a stronger country and it makes us stronger people.
What I found in talking to other people who are white who live in multicultural communities is that when they go home to where they grew up, that's very white, very homogenous, they actually miss being in a multicultural place. They miss, I don't know, the sound of other languages, they miss the different foods, they miss the diverse conversation and experiences that you find in a city like this one. And I would think that the number of white people who feel that way is actually increasing as their exposure to people of diverse backgrounds increases.
I love it when the voice of reason speaks. The interviewer is exactly right. We are growing far faster than they are. And I'm not trying to say we're not. He is exactly right. The more people that are introduced into these cultures like it than despise it. And we have to keep that narrative strong as well. And you only do that by calling out the leaders of these movements for what they are. And make the people that are following ignorantly aware of who they are. So at least they're no longer ignorant. If they're going to follow, they're going to follow with the knowledge of the truth. And those that aren't willing to do so, well, welcome home.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to measure, obviously, because first off, not everybody feels completely comfortable talking about it. Though I am sure that I'm sure there are a lot of people who enjoy that, who have made really great friendships with people in other communities, and really enjoy just experiencing, what their cultures have to offer. There are certain things I really enjoy about other cultures. I love lumpia. If anyone wants to ever make me happy, just a big pan of lumpia will cheer me up.
Filipino delicacy?
Yes, very much so.
And you would never have experienced that lumpia without diversity, dude. I mean, can you imagine trying to take away Taco Bell from Americans? I don't see it going too far.
That is cult-like behavior.
We have come too far as a society to let the dregs pull us back down. And they're trying really hard. They have power. We see what the right is doing. We see what Trump is doing. And a lot of people are just okay with defending it. We cannot be. We cannot be okay with that, with them defending it, with none of it. Because we have come too far as a society to go back now. We are looking ahead. We have big problems ahead of us, including climate change, including global wars. I mean, we have a lot of problems for our children that we should not be leaving to them.
There are things that we can enjoy and that we can experience from other people. However, again, there is this other side in which there is this feeling of isolation for many people. And in some cases, alienation, and just this disconnected feeling that they have.
Isolation, alienation, feelings of being dejected, feelings of being rejected. These are all issues for a therapist, not a white nationalist, white separatist fucking Nazi. And they prey upon these people in these emotional states. They prey upon this mental illness that these people are going through at the time. This depression, this anxiety. They prey upon that and suck them into their ranks. And this is why, even though I won't be covering this for quite a while, I'll never stop covering it.
It's a majority rule country. That's kind of how our democracy works. And although the majority of Americans are white, I don't think the majority of Americans feel the way that you do about diversity. So in order to have a governing coalition, you need to convince Americans who are white but don't share your view of diversity to join your side. What's your argument to them?
What they see on the television just about every week now, and the conflict that's being created just by having a very heterogeneous society. I mean, I think we're getting to the point where so many people are coming into this and they're saying, something's wrong here. I just feel that something's wrong.
Yep, just look at the news and you'll see all those black and brown people committing all the crimes. You'll see it all. But don't look at white supremacy in the ranks of police officers. Don't look at biases of human beings against human beings. Don't look at the economic circumstances that would push a person to a life of crime. Don't look at how white people do it too. Don't look at how it's not about race at all. It's about economics. It's about your social standing. It's about how much money you have in the fucking bank. There's not much difference between a poor white guy and a poor black guy outside of their biases and their ignorances of each other.
That is cult-like behavior.
And they have those ignorances of each other because we've been kept separated by the powerful that don't want us to be together. And now that we are starting to come together, well, they want to separate us again. Well, guess what, motherfucker? We're not separating. Because when the poor unite, when we come together as the multifaceted force that we are, you know you will not be able to stop it. So you fear it more than anything else. History always repeats itself. My goal would be to do it peacefully this time, but we will have resolution to these issues. We will not continue to live in your gutters. And I won't allow you to continue the conversation that's going to take away from the truth of that narrative. It's not the brown people, it's not the black people, it's the rich. It's the powerful that want to keep their power and keep their wealth. That person is not taking my job. That rich man is giving it to him.
I think on the left, we are interpreting the conflict as a backlash against the demographic and cultural shift that made it possible to elect the first black president, and that if we could somehow, instead of you convincing the rest of white America that this is bad, if we could convince you and the rest of white America that it's just a natural and proper outgrowth of our founding ideals as a nation, that we wouldn't have, that's another way to have unity.
I guess the only thing I could say to that is maybe just a recommendation, which is if that's what they really want, then they need to stop attacking people that try to have this conversation and vocalize in some cases, their fears, in some cases, just how they're feeling, their feelings about things. They need to listen, and the people outside, they're not listening. They're looking to intimidate and shut down conversation.
He can't respond to that because it's a rational and logical conclusion to his extremism, and he doesn't want to get rid of his extremism. He just wants to play the victim. He wants to say, well, if you want to do that, then you need to start listening to us and our atrocious ideas. No, motherfucker, not gonna happen. Because you have every right to go where you want to go and espouse these awful ideas. But I have every right to follow you, stand in your face, and scream back at you. And I will always support that. I will never go against that. That is like the core of my foundation. And I'm looking at free speech and what constitutes free speech and maybe where we should go. And I will always try to keep that within me. That I always think that the way to defeat these bad ideas are being louder than they are. But I will personally not coddle to your simpering, whimpering, whiny victim ass. You espouse these atrocious ideas, I'm going to stand in opposition to you. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to give you any credence. I'm not going to allow your propaganda to plant any seeds within me. I'm going to shut you the fuck down because that's what true Americans should do to fascists. Alright, well, I'm glad we're done with this shit for now, but I'm sure I'll be back on these alt-right Nazis before too long. As always, I'm your boy Nakasuchi. This is A Raging Atheist. If you like my videos, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share me on your social media, comment in the comments section below. Hit that bell so you're notified every time I make a new video or every time I have a new live stream. Become a patron, link is in the description. I'll see you soon.